What's up everyone, my name is Hytro, and this is a mod showcase for Hytale. For today's Hytale mod showcase video, we will be checking out the Horror Icons mod by Donald1Duck50. This was suggested by Ducko5000 in my comments. Also, there's two other mods that this person has suggested that we will be checking out later on too. Not in this video, but in some other videos coming up, so be prepared for that. And if there are any awesome mods that you guys want me to check out, be sure to comment them down below. And also, if you're purchasing Hytale anytime soon, remember to use code Hytro at checkout. But with that being said, be sure to check out Donald1Duck50. I'll be sure to link them in the description down below. And yeah, let's get this showcase out of the way. Alright, so the first thing I want to check out here is this workbench. Pretty gruesome, but let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Is it not working? This might be a prop. Either it's a prop or it's not working. Yeah, I mean, the workbench is just not working. Maybe that'll get updated, or maybe it's just not ready yet. But yeah, that's the workbench. I don't know if it's supposed to be a prop or not, but there are some weapons in this mod that we need to check out, and there's also, I believe there's some costumes. Yeah, we got quite a lot of costumes, so we're gonna check all of this out. So give me a second, I'm gonna get the weapons ready. Okay, I wanna say that these are all the weapons that come in this mod, but if I'm wrong, or if I'm missing something, let me know down below. So we've already done the workbench, so there's no need for that now. First thing we have is Art the Clown's hacksaw. I don't know what movie Art the Clown is from, but I know who Art the Clown is. So that being said, here's what the saw looks like in hand. Let me do this. And let's see just how strong is his saw. As always, we're just gonna spawn in an entity. We're gonna spawn in a weak one right now, skeleton. Let's do two regular ones. Quite a lot of hits though, so not that strong against the skeletons. Let me try with one skeleton this time, because I could not count how many hits it took to take the skeleton down. So I want to say that was 9 hits or more to take that skeleton down. And if it was 9 hits to take that thing down, I know we're not winning against the void spawn. I'll still try it though. We'll do a crawler this time. Let's spawn him in. So that was about 7 hits for the crawler. Now, since that was, let's see, I think it was 9 hits for the skeleton, 7 for the crawler. Yeah, we're probably not gonna get past, like the big guy. Yeah, see, I'm about to drop. And I think I only got 7 hits on him. That's 8. Alright, so I got taken down by the void spawn. The point is, I mean, you can't take down a void spawn with a saw. So yeah, that's the saw. We're gonna move on to these, but I'm gonna clear these out for new weapons. Okay, so next up we have Ghostface Knife. So here's what it looks like in hand. But let's see just how strong it is. Let's see if it's strong at all. So again, about 9 hits, the same amount as the saw. And if this doesn't beat the Void Crawler, I'm not even going up to the Void Spawn. So I want to say that was 7 hits. I'm not quite sure. But this is not going up against the Void Spawn. So let's move on to the next item. And the next weapon is the Hannibal Lecter Knife. So here's what it looks like in hand. And once again, let's see how strong this thing is. I want to say that was maybe 10 hits. Alright, now let's try the crawler. And that was 6 hits for the crawler. Again, if I go up against the Void Spawn with this, it's not going to end well. So we're going to leave it there. And we're going to move on to the next item. And the next item that we have here is Jason's Machete. So as you can see, here's what it looks like in hand. And let's test this out. Alright, so we got the skeleton spawned in. Now let's do this. So that was 7 hits. And let's try the crawler once again. Let's see where this gets us. So that was 5 hits for the crawler. I guess since that was 5 hits for the crawler and less hits for the skeleton, we can try this. So let's do that. That's the damage that this machete does. So with that being said, let's move on to our next weapon. Alright, for our next weapon, we have Michael Myers' knife. So here's what it looks like in hand. And as you know, we're gonna spawn in our things now. This time, let's try a different skeleton, because I've been using the same one over and over. So let's try a sand archer this time. So about 7 to 8 hits, I couldn't really tell. That went by pretty fast. Alright, we got a crawler spawned in. So let's try this. And it took the crawler down pretty easy, so let's go on to the Void Spawn. So that's 12 hits so far. That's 13. That's 14. Took him down in 14 hits. And with that being said, now that we know that, let's move on to our next weapon. This next weapon is the Pinhead Chains. So here's what it looks like in hand. Looks pretty awesome, by the way. And it has a cool animation, as you can see, too. I accidentally did that, but that's pretty cool. So yeah, with that being said, let's test this thing out. And I think moving forward, I'm gonna start off with a goblin. Did he just disappear? Where'd the goblin go? The goblin just disappeared. Let me try this one more time. He went all the way underground. He dug his way underground. Man. Alright, so since the goblins want to leave, let's go back to the original plan and do the skeleton. I want to say that was 6 hits. Let's try the crawler, though. So that was 4 hits. Now let's see about the Void Spawn. I got about 5 hits on him. Alright, this thing can't take down the Void Spawn. This thing just can't take it down. So gonna get him up out of here. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, we're gonna move on to our last two items, or our final two items. At least in terms of weapons, because there are actually costumes in this mod as well. So let's check those out. Alright, the next weapon that we have here is the Sam Lollipop Knife. So here's what it looks like in hand. And as you know, we're going to test this thing out. It's perfect too, it's nighttime. We're going to go with our same routine. That was 5 hits so far. So either 8 or 9 hits. But let's move on to the crawler. So 6 hits once again. I could try the void spawn, but I know I'm not gonna survive it. So that's 3 hits. That's 10. That's 12. I think that was 13 hits, but I could be wrong. But with that being said, let's move on to our final weapon in this mod showcase. But not the final thing in this mod showcase, once again. So I've set the time back today so that you guys can see better. And this final weapon we have is the SCP-049 Needle. So here's what that looks like in hand. No custom animation. I gotta check for those every now and then. And let's test this out and see how this goes. Here we go, we have the skeleton here. That was 2 hits until we start blocking. So 6 hits. Most of these weapons, I want to say, take the skeleton down in like 6 hits or so. Let's try the crawler. And if it takes more than 7 hits, then we're not doing the void spawn. So that was about 6 hits. So since that wasn't 7, I guess I'll do a void spawn. Also, for anyone wondering, the reason why I'm not pressing Q to take them down is because it just has the regular sword / animation. So that's why I haven't been pressing Q to finish them off this whole time. That's 2 hits. He's blocking. That's 4 hits. That's 8 hits. Yeah, that's the needle. And with that being said, let's move on to the costumes. Alright, so I have all of the costumes here. So the first one we're going to start off with is, of course, Art the Clown. So I'm going to put this on and we'll see how this looks in game. So here's what this looks like in game. And yeah, just what you would expect. Pretty creepy. Alright, the next set that we have is the Frankenstein set. So let's put this on. And here's what that looks like in game. If you could ignore the scarf, I do have it toggled on. Maybe I should... Hang on, maybe I should toggle it off. Alright, I have toggled the scarf off, and here is what it looks like. So, the scarf's not blocking the mouth anymore. But with that being said, let's move on to our next costume. So the next set we have is the Freddy Krueger set. Here's what it looks like. And yeah, that's basically it. And the next set that we have is the Ghostface set. So here is what that looks like. Pretty cool. And we're gonna move on to the next set. Alright, the next set we have here is the Hannibal Lecter, mask. It took off my glasses and it took everything else off, so, yeah, that's what this looks like. Let's move on to the next set. Moving on to the next set, we have the Jason Voorhees set. So, here's what it looks like. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's move on to that next set. Alright, moving on, we have the Michael Myers set. So here's what this looks like. And on to the next set. Moving on, we have the Pinhead set. So here's what this looks like. Looks pretty awesome. And yeah, on to the next set. Moving on to the next set, we have the Sam set. So here's what it looks like. And let's move on to our final set for this mod showcase. And last but not least, we have the SCP-049 set. So here's what that looks like. And yeah, with that being said, let's wrap this showcase up. Anyway, that is it for this Hytale mod showcase video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, then drop a like and subscribe, help the channel grow. There are 2 more mods suggested by Ducko5000 that I'm going to be showcasing on this channel. So if there's any mods that you guys know of that you want me to showcase on this channel, let me know in the comments down below. Or you can join my Discord server, the Vortex City, link in the description down below. And you can suggest it there too. So yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys in the next Hytale video.